Hey guys, we're looking at 3.4 today, slope review, and then a little bit of parallel lines and perpendicular lines. So most of this stuff should actually be reviewed today from Algebra 1, so I will be moving a little bit quicker than usual. If you need to pause the video at any time and write down what I have written down and then play it to hear it, feel free to do that as well. So we're going to talk about the different types of slope today, how you can find it using a graph, and how you can find it using 2 points. So let's get started. A positive slope is a line that moves up as you move from left to right. A negative slope, as you move from left to right, goes down. A straight horizontal line is 0 because you're not rising up or going down any, you're just going left and right. So your rise is 0, your run is however many points you want to move, so that's 0. Whereas undefined, you're rising a bunch, so you have a number over 0 when you move left to right, whereas this is 0 over a number. Alright, so we call this one undefined. One way I like to remember, just like a quick little side note, is slope man. I don't know if you guys have heard of or seen this before, but slope man looks like this. He has a positive left eye, so his eyebrow is going up. He has a negative right eye, so that eyebrow is going down. He has an undefined nose, see the U for undefined, and he has a 0 smile because he's sad and he just does math all day and he's just very depressed, so he has 0 smiles. And then there's his little body, and he has to wear a cape for the job, and it says SM for slope man, so that helps me remember which way the slopes go, especially for undefined and 0, so feel free to use that if you would like to use that. Anyways, finding slope. If you're given a graph, you can use rise over run. So you're moving from the left point to the right point. From this left point, you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, so that is a rise of 4. And then you're running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So rise over run, 4 over 5. From P to Q, you start at your left dot and you go down 1, 2, 3. So that's a negative 3 since you went down. And then you run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right. And we always simplify our slopes, so make them as simplified or reduced as possible. So that slope is negative 1/2. This slope, you're starting, there is no left dot, so you're just starting at one of the dots and you're either going up or down, but we have a rise and we have no run. So this is going to be an undefined slope. You don't technically have to do any work for that. You can just look at it and know. So like for this one, we just know that this slope is 0 because slope man's dimples are on the left side of his not smiley face. So we can just say that's 0. If you want to go through and say, well, it has a rise of 0 and a run of 3, then you can do that and then simplify it down to 0. All right, let's look at finding the slope using ordered pairs. So I have x1, y1, x2, y2. Why do I label them that way? Because this is the first point that I see, that's the second point that I see. You can label that this one as x2, y2, and this one as x1, y1. It doesn't matter, because you're still subtracting your y's, you're still subtracting your x's. So we say m equals y2 is negative 1, minus y1 is 5, all over 6 minus negative 2. Please be very careful about your negatives. That's the biggest mistake I see, is people forget to put a minus sign when it's already negative. Negative 1 minus 5 is negative 6, and 6 plus 2 is 8, so negative 3/4 is our slope for that one. x1, y1, x2, y2, m equals, take your y2 minus y1, so 7 minus negative 3, all over negative 6 minus negative 11. 7 plus 3 is 10, and negative 6 plus 11 is 5. So this reduces to 2. All right, let's try another one, x2, y2. So m equals 2 minus negative 4, all over 9 minus 9. 2 plus 4 is 6, and 9 minus 9 is 0. So a lot of people get confused when they see this format, 6 over 0. Which one is it? Is it undefined or is it 0? I like to think of it as like an Australian accent, like 0 is under the 6, so it's undefined. You see it? Undefined. If you like to think of it, well, you're rising a bunch, but you're not running any, so that's a vertical line, then it's undefined. However you need to think about it to make sure you get the right answer is cool with me. Here, let me put that down here. Under the 6. There you go, as a reminder. All right, here we have -3 minus -3, all over 0 minus -7. So that on top is 0 over 7, which does reduce to 0. It is okay to divide 0 by a number. All right, flip it over. We're going to look at parallel lines and perpendicular lines. So parallel lines have the same slope. So whether it's a fraction or positive or negative or a whole number or 0 or undefined, it does not matter. As long as their slope is the same, those two lines are parallel. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So what does that mean? You can also call it negative reciprocal slopes, but I like the word opposite because if it's already negative, then you make it positive. So you change the sign, whether it's positive or negative, and then you flip the fraction. So some examples. If this slope is 3/4, the opposite sign would be negative, flip the fraction 4/3. The opposite sign of 2 would be negative, flip 2 over 1, you get 1/2. So 2 and -1/2 are opposite reciprocal slopes, meaning that a line containing those two slopes would be perpendicular. This guy's already negative, so you make it positive, flip your fraction. This guy is 1 over 1, it's positive already, so negative 1 over 1 is just 1, -1. And remember, a 0 line goes like this. In order to be perpendicular to that, it has to be a straight up and down line. So undefined and 0 are going to be opposite reciprocal slopes. So we're just going to do a couple of these because there's a lot of them, and I don't think we need to look at every single one. So we're going to look at 3 on this page and then 2 on the next page. Then we'll be done with notes for today. So we want to determine if AB, lines AB and lines CD are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. In order to figure that out, you have to know whether their lines are parallel, perpendicular, or have no correlation at all. So we're going to find the slope of AB, and then we're going to find the slope of CD and compare them. So if I want to do AB, this is my x1, y1, x2, y2. So I have 6 minus 3 all over 2 minus -2. So 6 minus 3 is 3, 2 plus 2 is 4. So the slope of AB is 4. Now let's find the slope of CD. We have 3 minus 0 over 3 minus -1. 3 over 4 is that slope. So let's write our slopes over here. This slope was 3/4. This slope was 3/4. Since those are the same, these are parallel. All right, whenever you talk about parallel lines, you can also use this symbol, the 2 lines up and down. That means those are parallel because they look like parallel lines, right? Number 2, let's look at AB, and then we'll look at CD here in a second. So we have 4 minus 2 all over 5 minus 0, so 2 over 5 is that slope. Now let's look at CD. We have 3 minus 8 all over 3 minus 1. 3 minus 8 is -5, 3 minus 1 is 2. So the slope of AB is 2/5, and the slope of CD is -5/2. If you flip 2/5, you get 5/2. One's positive, one's negative. So these are perpendicular. The symbol for that is a perpendicular line. You've seen this already once before. Okay, let's jump down to number 4. Let's look at AB. So we have 6 minus 8 all over 2 minus -1. 6 minus 8 is -2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So the slope of AB is -2/3. CD, we have 3 minus 2 all over 3 minus -1. So I have 1 over 4. Those are opposites, but they're not reciprocals. So this one would be neither. We can say N to shorten that up a little bit. Okay, so those are your 3 on this side. If you want to try 3 and 5 or any of these on this side, you can. I just wanted to give you lots of practice so you can try some on your own if you need to. Let's look at number 11. We have AB, so 7 minus negative 2 all over 0 minus 0. 9 over 0. Think about what kind of slope that is. 0 is under the 9, so this one is undefined. Okay, let's try CD. Negative 5 minus negative 5 all over 6 minus 3. Careful about your negatives. Negative 5 plus 5 ends up being 0, and 6 minus 3 is 3. So we have a slope of 0 right here. And remember what happened when we said undefined and 0 slopes come together? This guy is going left and right, this guy is going up and down, so they're going to cross at a perfect right angle. So these are perpendicular. Okay, the last one I want to look at is number 12, AB. We have negative 4 minus 1 all over 3 minus 3. So that gives us negative 5 over 0. That is an undefined slope. Now if we look at CD, 5 minus 1 over negative 4 minus negative 4. So that is 4 over 0, which again is undefined. So when you have 2 undefined lines, that means they're both going up and down at the same time. So those would be parallel. If you would have gotten a slope of 0 and a slope of 0, that would have just been 2 lines going left and right. So those would have been parallel as well. Okay. All right, that is all I have for you today. So we're going to look at a Canvas assignment tomorrow in class. Have a great day.